How many? Oh, all right. Hi, Marissa.
Hi,
Welcome again.
Natalie.
How many of these transit chats have we done now? It's like I think we're like
This is our
four or
third.
five.
Well, it's definitely our fourth or fifth podcast, but it's our third transit.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, do our little introduction. I'm Natalie Moss. We've got Marissa Mull, and we've been having these transit conversations where we obviously where the sun is this week. We're kind of feeling into that energy. We're talking about the information, I guess, that we have to do with that gate. And then we're pulling in life experiences and how we're feeling this week, what's going on, where it is in our chart. Um, and we've spoken before, we're hoping to bring other people in to have these conversations with us so we can have a bit more diversity of information and experience. This week we have transiting, the sun is in gate 43, which is the gate of insight or breakthrough. And Marissa and I, we both have the 23, which is the connecting gate of the channel, which is the channel of structuring. 23 is also in the Earth, moving through Earth at the moment. Or Earth is moving through gate 23. And yeah, interesting experiences this week. Our 23 positions as well are both Mars. So mine's unconscious Mars, yours is conscious Mars. Um, and so I'm interested to hear like what's been going on for you this week, and I'll share my adventures as well. So how's
I've
it been
actually
going for
been
you?
having breakthroughs. I've been having
Yeah.
breakthroughs, like a lot of mental breakthroughs, where like pieces weren't talking to each other, in my body of what I'm trying to get across. And it's also referred to as the genius to freak channel,
Mm,
because it's like there's an inner ear. It's like instead of the third eye, it's the third ear, and it's
mm,
like this deafness. And it's kind of deafness for your own protection, for your own process, so that yeah, so that you can focus on
mm.
your kind of focus.
Because it
And
is individual.
yeah, it's individual and it comes in a pulse.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's definitely potential where all the time with my hanging 23, I feel like people are not able to understand me because the
Hmm.
23 is called assimilation, and it's in both of our Mars. One mine is conscious and yours is unconscious or opposite. Um, but it really, that's where we can mutate because Mars is the place of immature energy dynamics, and it's the place that, if you look in the magic square, it's in the middle. All of the other planets touch it. Everything goes through Mars. Everything. So yeah, Mars is how the energy that we can actually mutate. So
Mm.
I really like that we both have the opposite of the 43
Yeah, it's
in our
interesting.
yeah, it's just been a lot of connecting of the things that I couldn't figure out how to, like, I knew, but I don't know how to express it, or some things that I didn't even realize I knew that I knew.
Mm.
And um yeah, all of this stuff is coming out, so I kind of am putting together um like a rave cosmology, and I actually did slides for the first time. I just watched my body do it the other day, and I was like, okay. So I did all the slides for going around the
Awesome.
wheel with the Godhead information. And then I've been having a lot of insights. We just left the gate one before this, and just yeah, being in the G center right before this was a very G center focused time for me, and a lot of insights about the G center, and um, the how this illusion works, and how the
Mm.
magnetic monopole works, and all that. And yeah, just a lot of breakthroughs in my own insights. How about you, Nat?
That's amazing. That's awesome to hear. I have felt more. I'm going to share as well the transit just to bring it up. oops, 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 oops. Yeah. Um, I've actually felt like increased anxiety this week. Like it really, I really have felt. Sorry, we have a bit of internet connectivity issues. So, um, yeah, I definitely felt increased anxiety coming through. I mean, I'm a manifesting generator and I do tend to get angry and frustrated like in the world. I have a lot of aloneness in my chart and I want to be I want to have ample time, opportunity alone, which does speak to the individual energy. And I also have a severe chronic case of tinnitus, ringing in my ears. So I don't have deafness, which the 43 shadow is deaf. I actually have extra acute hearing. Usually, people that have tinnitus and ringing have an experience of decreased like hearing function. And I am in a really uncomfortable position because a lot of medical people don't know what to do, don't know how to help me, and don't think it makes sense that I don't haven't lost my hearing at the same time. And so that creates a very generalized stress for me. But of course, like with human design and like lots of other spiritual practices or modalities, like I've been on this pathway of self-healing and like how can I use this information of either deafness or um, there's something I'm not paying attention to or something that I have to go in and hear um, that inner voice. So the 43 for me is actually it's a mental conditioner because my ajna is open. And so with that 23 in Mars going up and like I think connecting with the 43 energy, it really created a lot of mental anxiety this week. So I don't even know yet about breakthroughs. I've got no fucking idea. I'm just
Well, I was having breakthroughs, but I was also having anxiety at the same time. Like everything, everything was just going wrong, and like I just a lot of deep breathing because I was feeling. It's funny because it was mental pressure, but it felt like it was root pressure.
mm, yeah,
But
interesting.
it just shows how the pressure centers work together. Like it kind of felt like the 360.
Yeah, right. Interesting. I've got, yeah, sorry, I have a little bit of feedback, so I don't know whether that'll probably be in the recording, but it's just annoying to listen to my voice is repeating. So I can't hear it twice, guys. I, it's funny with, yeah, the energy of the 43 creating this echo, this vocal echo, where I'm like, I don't want to hear it. It's like right on,
Oh.
but it's right on the energy. So, what else? Yeah, can we go through with um
So let's see.
I've got
With
my trusty the trusty Bible also out. So the theme is
yeah, we
purpose fulfilled through transformation. So yeah, the 4323 or the 43 has that inner acoustic and that deafness, like you were saying, blocks out the external noise so that it can hear itself and translate that inner acoustic. And so that translation that's trying to occur from, yeah, the genius. I always get the genius to, it's genius to freak, right? So it's like this new cognitive thought comes through and it's often misunderstood and that channel it needs to like say it again and say it again and do it again and say it again and then suddenly maybe in a little while, someone's like, oh, da da da, like I finally get what you're saying, or they might just say back to you what you already figured out months ago that they didn't understand you saying, and now they're coming to you and being like, oh, I had this idea, or I had this breakthrough. Like, dude, I've been saying that, but it doesn't necessarily come out like formed in a way that you can hear. So,
exactly, and it happens to me a lot with the hanging 23. I'll literally and I'll think I'll describe it and assimilate it pretty well. Nobody will pay attention, and the next day or something, it's, oh, that's such a good idea from somebody else saying what I had said. And yeah, yeah. And with the tinnitus too, that's interesting because um my fiance who had passed had the 4323. Ra had the 4323. I know a lot of people that I had worked with at the agent clients I'd worked with at the agency that had the 4323, the whole channel, and they would have tinnitus, and they would also have oftentimes this like spiritual psychosis, hearing voices, which that's how Joey seemed to start off. At first, he was just hearing this ringing that was driving him crazy, and it was just getting louder and louder. And yeah, it's acoustic. So I was picking up on some rogue crystal bundles tapped in there.
Mm,
and
yeah.
yeah, but even with the psychosis, it was definitely very freak side, and couldn't really understand what was going on, but like now I can assimilate it, kind of reverse engineering it.
Mm,
And it was genius.
mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I mentioned the when we did the 23 that I do have a friend who's got this whole channel and has been experiencing deafness in their body. Like, yeah, so they're and the medical field can like ascribe it to something physical, and then he's going through some treatment, but at the end of the day, they're like his hearing may be permanently affected. And it's I don't know what to say about that. It's like you had sometimes continuing to come back to like what else is going on besides like just the physical treatment, but like that emotional level of like how are you really not hearing yourself? How are you not, or even accepting that being deaf will enable you to pay attention to that inner voice. Like it's not, I don't know, in the world we all expect to be in this the same degree of health, and that is the way that health looks. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm saying something controversial with the, but like maybe some of us, it is our soul's destiny to exist and live with conditions which are challenging and difficult, but they enable other gifts to come through. That's part of, I think, my tinnitus does so much for me. Like it's frustrating, it's painful, it's annoying, like it's never ending. It's like I can go on and be in that like crippled state, but it does incite me to push harder and to like really hold on to my convictions and to fight for like I don't have the gate of struggle either, but like to yeah, it's but I do have principles and like big on values. So I'm like I'm not giving up. I don't give in. Like so, my determination is strengthened. All of this other stuff, which is very me, is enabled through this condition. Because yeah, it's like well, if I have to live with this, I'm not gonna play life the way that everybody would expect me to play it, which is very me. But does that make sense? Like it
Absolutely.
has it does enable um what's the progression of the gene keys that we're talking about with the it goes from deafness to insight to
Um,
epiphany?
it breaks. Hold on second, and let me pull it up. Actually, do you want to read the description from Human Design first?
From this book?
Yeah.
We already talked about this just to our audience. We're not going to edit any of this because time doesn't permit any editing. So we're just, you know, you'll just live through it. What could I read out to do with this? Um, just like the top line, like in order for achievement to be maintained, a new order must be fairly established. Yeah. So,
What is that, the first line?
pardon?
What is that? The first line of it?
You mean the actual out of the six hexagram lines? What's the first line?
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. This is this is totally on point. This geniusly freak right now.
I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Um,
That was okay. That was just general. Just the description of the gate. I thought you were reading a line, one of the lines.
No. Well, I'm just like reading a couple of the notes. Yeah, when we do these transit talks, I just get this book out to sort of anchor me back into the origin stuff. So, I mean, the 43, I can just quickly read a few lines that are in it, like sporadically. 43 carries fear of rejection. I would definitely say this week I felt that rejection, very misunderstood and unheard. Yeah, your ideas can be too weird and you're afraid that they're going to be too weird or too different. I've been studying I've been studying interior design, and this week is one of the first weeks that I really thought maybe I can't do this. Like I was really like maybe I'm not good at it. Um and but it's like because I'm always trying to mutate in my process of doing interior design. I don't want to just learn how to make rooms that everybody else makes or that are on trend. And the school that I go to, they're like, you need to learn how to just do things so that your client likes this gray and white room. And I'm like, but I want to learn how to make big clashing patterns and use fucking copper walls and like, I, so me like with that limitation creates a lot of anger and frustration, and that's come up, yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because remember I was saying it felt like the 360, and that's the 360 is about the limitation. And yeah, it's interesting how they're both pressures, individual pressures, and they kind of play
Mm,
out like that. Um, so yeah, from the gene keys,
mm,
let's see. Okay, so the city is epiphany.
mm,
The the gift is insight, and the shadow is deafness. It's called breakthrough in the gene keys. The 23rd gene key is the programming partner. It's one of the three channels in the wheel that are opposite of each other.
mm,
It's the 4323, the 3740, and the 3420, I believe,
mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
the three channels. Mm, okay. Yeah. So the shadow is deafness. To survival, service, surrender. Um, survival. Yeah. So yeah, it's just talking about the same things we've shared about the inner listening and the acoustics. Um, the gift of the insight, it really requires to have a calm environment, and the lower frequencies are so deafening that it's rare to find a human being with a clean, still aura. One clear insight from a higher frequency can completely change your life because true insight is a mutation within the structure of your DNA.
Mm,
The 43rd shadow blocks your inner events by tuning you into the lower planetary frequencies of pure noise. The
mm,
40th gene key is about surprises, and it will not reveal its secrets to a taut mind. The pulse of life follows a deeply focused rhythm that periodically undergoes unexpected fluctuations. This is true from the movements of the galaxies right down to the minute workings of the subatomic world. We see these rhythms everywhere, but if we look long enough, we could see the anomalies that break the pattern. And this is why science, for example, has been able to explain everything in the universe because the goalposts keep changing. The human mind is unhappy living in such uncertain universe. So we spent our entire lives looking to create the illusion of security and stability, and much of the world still exists in a substance that cannot afford to be concerned about how they feel, but simply engage in survival. Those, for those societies that have pulled free from the primal survival frequency, fear still persists. As the saying goes, we move from being warriors to being warriors. So it's about the progression of consciousness and form, and the progression is measured through the heightening of efficiency in the functioning of the form. So yeah, it's very much about efficiency and finding the fastest way to do something, or the
Mm,
the path of least resistance and all of that. Um, yeah, so it's a lot about yeah, different kind of breakthroughs. It's it's not Solomon's world, you know, like it's not where everything is new under nothing is new under the sun.
mm.
This is this connected to my 23 is making my whole everything word vomiting today. So I'm glad that we're on this gate while this is happening.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what, yeah, I think is really fun about doing these in the energy, and continuing to do them in the energy, even, no matter what state we're kind of in, because I think that it does demonstrate really, like, that even, being conscious, being aligned, being attuned, like that, we are still fluctuating under the transits. Even someone like I never thought that I was very influenced. I am a manifesting generator and I am, solid, but I can, now that I'm looking at them, I can see how I'm still moving with it and I can see how everyone else is moving with it as well. So we've got about
Absolutely.
7 minutes left. I just realized maybe that's why my Zoom closed down and I had to reinstall it. Maybe my account, yeah, my pro account's ended or something. I don't know. So anyway, but it's good for us because it just gives us a limit
Oh,
of
geez.
another 7 minutes. And we can call back.
There we
We can
go.
call back and keep talking after if we want. If you want. I wanted to
Okay.
say
I just saw
something.
something really.
Oh, sorry. I
I
was
just
just.
wanted to share the fun part.
All right, you go.
Okay. So the fear that governs this shadow frequency specifically attaches itself to the way that your body feels.
Mm,
So yeah, that's just an interesting little note about this.
hmm And it's
Yeah, and
interesting what you were saying about the calm environment because I am calm. I'm calm determination and um and I'm mountains environment and my home is not calm and I really really wish it was and I want it to be, but it's not. So
mm,
it does feel like, yeah, like I'm blocked in some ways here. So I'm looking forward to, and I have been talking again this week. I'm like, I have to move, I have to move, I have to move. But I have to be patient, which is the line one of the breakthrough. Patience.
yeah, I've been feeling that same thing. Like I have to move. I really do. And then like uh, my word vomit. It's funny because the 43 is linking up to the 23, and the shadow is complexity.
Mm. Yeah, I
So
think having the full channel energy there doesn't necessarily make it flow any easier. I feel like it's actually maybe makes it even harder because it's really like that whole trying to pull it through. But like, yeah, like this whole energy suggests it doesn't happen immediately. Like, you're not just going to have a breakthrough or an epiphany and have it communicate instantly. It's just, it can't. It can't. If it does, it's not mutative because anything mutative, we're just not ready for it yet. It has to develop.
exactly. And Ra had this channel, and he would when he would talk about human design, he sounded like a channel, like a channel. He's channeling the voice or something all the time, like he sounded like a walking channel. And he would always say like he doesn't, it was unconscious for him, so he had no idea what was going to come out of his mouth.
Mm,
And it's interesting because the other day I was thinking of what I wanted to say, and when I talked, it was not the words that were in my head, and I was
mm,
like, wait. It's so interesting how the mind thinks that it can express, but if you don't actually try and express that thing that you want to express, you don't know, because it's just so
mm.
tricky.
Yeah. yeah, you can't necessarily sit and think about it. You have to open the mouth and let the 23 go and kind of ride the storm, like weather it. I think that's a lot about what my YouTube channel has been about. Like before we started doing these transit things, like I've been sitting in the car doing flow state chats, and it has been like, okay, I have a nugget of a theme, something that I'm responding to, but I have to just open my mouth and allow what comes out to come out. It's like, and I'll learn what that is later.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with this shadow, the repressive nature is worried and reactive is noisy. Um, either way, it's about noise, and um, the noise can make people feel very uncomfortable in the world. And
Hmm.
it's mental, it's ajna, it's conceptual stuff. So people can go into these perpetual loops, and yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I was just getting up the mandala for our last couple of minutes. Um, so where are we? We're here, we're deep in Scorpio. We're in mutation, the quarter of mutation, as well. And yeah, what else
yeah,
to say about that? So we've got 2 minutes, Marissa.
we're, we're still in we're still in Hades, the lord of the underworld, right? um so it's like death and rebirth. I want to read the quantum human design
Mm-hmm.
information. So it's called Insight in Quantum Human Design. The challenge is to be comfortable and to trust epiphanies and deep inner knowing without doubting what you know, to trust that when the timing is right, you will know how to share what you know and serve your role as a transformative messenger who has insights that can change the way people think and what they know. And some questions you can ask yourself is, do I trust in divine timing? Do I trust myself in my own inner knowing? What can I do to deepen my connection with source, and my source of knowing? What needs to be healed, released, and aligned or brought to my awareness for me to trust my own inner knowing? And the affirmation she puts is, I'm a vessel of knowledge and wisdom that has the ability to transform the way people think. I share my knowledge with others when they are ready and vibrationally aligned with what I have to share. When the time is right, I have the right words and the right insights to help others expand their thinking, recalibrate their mindset, and discover elegant solutions to the challenges facing humanity. Um, and yeah, transmission is where the earth is in. That's what the 23 is called. It's called transmission in QHD. And it says, take stock of all the times you knew something, even though you didn't know how you knew. Keep a running list of all your intuitive hits. Start affirming for yourself how reliable your knowingness actually is.
Awesome. I wish we could say more, but this is literally about to shut down. So we'll say goodbye. And next time, I think we might double up on the next two gates. We might do 14 and 34 because we realize we're going to get out of sync with the transit. So yeah,
Yeah.
a short and quick 43. We can go away and work out our insights
Yes, there we
individually.
go. Hopefully we'll have a breakthrough.
All right, fun as always. I'll give you a call back when this ends.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, if anybody's tuning into this.
All right, ciao.